Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this AstroAI T6 off-road air compressor. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So it has some features on the side. It's probably hard to see on camera, but it says quickly inflate heavy-duty tires, compatible with pickup trucks and RVs, automatic overheating protection system, airflow control system, more convenient operation. On the back we have some specs. Working voltage is 12 volts, power rating is 540 watts, inflation speed is 160 liters per minute, maximum working pressure is 150 psi, working current is 45 amps. So the gauge on this displays psi, bar, kilopascals, and kilograms per centimeter squared. Continuous working time is 45 minutes, so that's a really nice feature. Oftentimes smaller compressors will have a short duty cycle. This goes for 45 minutes. If you're talking about a typical SUV or truck, you're going to have at least 4 tires, so you want a good long run time on it, so you don't get 3 of your 4 tires inflated and then it overheats or something. Air hose length is 26 feet, power cord length is 6 feet, well 6.5 feet, and then we have the dimensions there too. So let's get this opened up. So it looks like we have a case with handles on it. I was wondering how I was going to lift this out of here, but it looks like it shouldn't be too hard. I'm actually going to take this off my bench here and I'll pull it back up. There we go. Boy, that is nice. So let's open that. Okay, here's our compressor. Here's our air hose. Seems kind of like a rubber hose. There's a user manual with some adapters. We have some for inflating like a beach ball, and we have a sport inflator, a needle inflator. Pull the manual out. So we have a thank you card. Let's take a quick look at the manual. So you'll want to read through all of this, but I'll go over some things. So it says the compressor can get hot during operation, so you want to be aware of that. It says if the pressure is below 40 psi, the compressor's maximum working time is 45 minutes. Allow the product to rest for at least 20 minutes after 45 minutes of continuous use. So to power this, you're going to connect it to a 12 volt battery. It says 12 volt 45 amp battery, so a car battery would be good. Here are the different parts of the compressor. So it has a metal heatsink, handle, 1/4 inch MPT quick connect, reset button, power cord. This comes with an inflator with a digital readout, has a deflate button. It comes with air hose, air nozzles. This talks about how to use it. So you'll connect up the air hose, or connect up the inflator. You connect the inflator to the tire. Press the LCD button to turn on the screen. Choose the unit you want. Start the engine, open the hood, and then connect the compressor to your battery. So you want your car running so it doesn't deplete the battery. It says pull the airflow valve downwards and switch the power button of the compressor to the I side or the 1 side to start the compressor. Push the airflow valve upwards to stop the airflow into the pressure gauge. So when you're inflating, it can be hard to get a correct pressure. So it has a valve on here. You can shut the air pressure off. You can let it stabilize, look at the gauge, and then if you need more air, you can turn it back on. When you have the pressure set, you can turn the compressor off, and we have some troubleshooting here. Here we have the gauge. It takes batteries. Let's look in the back here. So it has 2 AAA batteries. Press on. And here that's on, so we can press this to go between the units. The function button turns the backlight on. This here is the deflate button. So if you have it over pressure or if you need to air down, you can press that. And this is the valve to turn the pressure on or off to the inflator. The end of this has a screw-on type valve. So I'll turn this off, I'll hold this down to turn it off. And I'm going over this on my bench where I have good lighting and such, but I'm definitely going to demonstrate this on my SUV. And let's pull the compressor out. So this has some big rubber feet on it, and it has this large base. Now that's very important because the places you might be deflating your tires, it might be muddy out or sandy. And without this big plate, if you set this down, it might tip over or it might just sink into the mud or sand. So that gives it a wider base. So I like seeing that. And then we have these clamps for your battery, and the cord here seems nice and thick. This has a heat sink on the handle because the air will be flowing through there and it will get hot. And the whole thing's vented. You have heat sinks here, it's vented here. Here's the back side. We have the on-off switch. Let me get a weight on this. I'm not going to do the wires, I'm just going to lift it up a few inches. But this thing has a lot of heft to it. So I got about 14.5 pounds. So let's test this out here on the bench. I'm just going to connect it up to this lithium iron phosphate battery I have. See if I can get a connection here. Now I need a little bit longer spread on these cords so you can actually just pull that apart. I'll cut the ties on the air hose. Now these quick connect fittings, I'll pull back, slip it on, do the same over here. We're connected up, and I'll turn the compressor on. Now I'm probably not going to run it long, I'm sure it's pretty loud, but we'll try it out. So the air was actually coming out of here. So that's generally how you get it to work. So I'm going to head out to the car and we'll demonstrate this on actual SUV tires. Okay, so I'm out here at my 1997 Land Cruiser. I apologize for all the lawnmowers and such in the background. We have a break in the cold weather and people are cleaning up their yards. So I have the compressor here. I have it connected up to the battery. I have the hose connected up to the air chuck. Now I'm going to start the vehicle. And air pressure in this vehicle is 32 psi. So I'm going to turn on the pump and I'll inflate the tire. So when this is closed, it's going to leak air out here. That's so pressure doesn't build up in the line. And then you can read the gauge, and then you can open up, and when you fill it, it's going to show higher because the pressure coming through here is higher. And every once in a while, you close it, check the PSI. Typically, you would probably overinflate it a little bit, and then press this button here to deflate it till it's at the correct pressure. Of course, you can also just deflate your tire with that. Let's try that. So we're showing 31.6. Now I filled these up to 32, and I probably could have let this equalize a little bit more. Let's say you're going on some sand or mud and you need to air down your tires. We can press this. And now this isn't going to show exactly accurate when it's airing down in the same regard as when you're inflating it. So here we're down to, let's say, 27. Now there may be faster techniques for deflating your tire, but this is kind of convenient and you can monitor it. Here we're down to 26. Let me deflate the tire completely, and we'll see what it takes to inflate the tire all the way back up. I'm just going to be using a standard valve core tool to remove the valve so it deflates quickly. That's down to 8 psi. I don't want to deflate it all the way. I don't want to damage the tire any more than it already is. It's pretty rough. So let's try inflating this back up now. Okay, so we got that at 32. I'll put the time up on the screen approximately how long that took. Now I had to put quite a bit of air in, so I wasn't checking it regularly, and I overshot it by about 3 psi, and then I dropped it down to the correct psi. So now I can pull this off. And we're ready to go. So that's the AstroAI off-road air compressor. I really like how robust this thing is. It's really heavy duty, has a long runtime on it, and is a lot faster than a smaller portable battery-powered compressor. And there is a place for those smaller battery-powered cordless inflators, but if you're doing off-roading and such, or have a large truck, I think this is a much more ideal solution for inflating your tires. Now, when I hooked it up to this and I deflated it with this, it was a little bit slow. So if you're off-roading and you want to air down your tires, there are other solutions for airing down your tires more quickly. You can just stick a screwdriver in there and air them down. But then when you have to go re-inflate them, this compressor is big enough that you can inflate your 4 tires relatively quickly, and you're not going to overheat this compressor like you would with a smaller compressor. Of course, this would also be good for flat tires. Now, if you get a flat tire, sometimes you can inflate it a little bit to get somewhere before you change it. Or oftentimes, your spare tire is not going to have enough air in it, so you can get that inflated up so you can use it until you get to somewhere where you can get the tire repaired. One thing I really like about this is it comes with this nice bag. I actually have 2 SUVs. On any given day, I may be driving one or the other, so I can easily just pull this out of one, throw it in the back of the other, and I don't have to worry about all the cords getting lost and separated. And this also has that nice long hose, so you can connect this up to the battery in the front of the vehicle. This has enough cord to get from the engine bay down to the ground, and then you have that hose to get around your vehicle. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.